This device can not only ruin but also end someone's life. According to Miller, Thompson, and Franz, 34.5% of students between the ages of 10 to 15 have been harassed through some sort of internet communication.
According to Colm Hobblethwaite, individuals in our generation hold on average 7.6 social media accounts. This provides multiple platforms for getting cyberbullied or being a cyberbully.
Hi, my name is Cassidy Gooch. This is Lauren Regal. This is Molly Melder. This is Grace Dockhorn, Savannah Stoy, and Abigail Gooden. And all 6 of us have some form of social media, and all 6 of us have been victims of cyberbullying. Today's social environment makes individuals more susceptible to cyberbullying, which is why we need to educate the masses on what cyberbullying includes, its consequences, and steps we can take to eradicate this issue. In this presentation, we will define cyberbullying, discuss the negative consequences and ramifications associated with it, and we will elaborate on potential solutions to help solve this issue. Let's begin by discussing what cyberbullying truly is and why it's such a problem right now.
Because of the reliance on social media in the lives of the developing generations, cyberbullying has become a serious issue. The concept of bullying is not unfamiliar. Whether you have given, received, or witnessed a physical altercation between students, it is not an uncommon sight. However, cyberbullying is harder to spot. With it just making its first appearance in the rise of the cyber world, beginning in the 2002s, and it differs from normal bullying in the fact that it has to be used through computers, cell phones, or electronic devices, according to Patchins and Hinjua. It is most commonly seen in students with adolescence, and by definition is the abuse that some students intentionally inflict on lesser peers using social media or electronic devices, from the findings of Cunye and Zirkle. This should pique our attention because in some serious cases, it can lead to suicide. Sadly, according to McNamee, suicide is the biggest cause of death in adolescents worldwide. In the U.S., about 20% of adolescents seriously consider suicide, and between 5 to 8% actually attempt each year. Many things can cause this problem. However, it starts with the unsupervised use of social media and technology by children from parents. Because for kids, it is a lot easier to be mean through a computer or phone screen than it is in person. It is also caused by a lack of safe space, which means the bullying follows the victim home and makes them feel like they can't escape it. And finally, just the youth's reliance on technology and how they value their appearance on social media more than developing actual social skills increases bullying.
As stated prior, cyberbullying has become an increasingly large issue among the youth of America today. Since technology has become increasingly popular and is used almost every day among our society, it's very easy for cyberbullying to go unnoticed and be something that is quite normal to happen. So many people question how serious is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is an extremely serious issue. Like Abby said, the leading cause for adolescents is worldwide of death is suicide, and a lot of the times that is related to the cyberbullying effect. Suicide rates have doubled with the comparison of cyberbullying, almost twice as much as it has been since technology has become more popular, and the youth is twice as likely to self-harm or attempt suicide later on because of these issues, and that's according to Napton from the Journal of Medical Research. So since technology is not censored by parents or student faculty, it's very easy for the perpetrators to fly under the radar and to go almost unnoticed when it comes to cyberbullying, and it's also very easy for the victims to feel that they are alone in the situation and that there is nothing that can be done since their information is already out into the open. Not only does it affect the feelings of safety within themselves, it also affects their ability to learn in school. In fact, 64% of students who have stated that they've been personally affected by cyberbullying have also stated that they have been negatively impacted by their feelings of safety within their homes and around in the comfort of their homes and comfort of themselves around them, as well as their inability to learn. And that's according to the Cook Cyberbullying Statistics and Facts of 2016 through 2018. So cyberbullying is something, once again, that flies under the radar, and it's something that is apparent but not really talked about. And a lot of times, many situations, victims feel that they can't go and talk to someone, or they feel that it's too humiliating of a situation to want to share with others. In fact, studies show that only 1 in 10 teens actually tell a parent or a caregiver about a cyberbullying issue, and that's also according to Cook's statistics. So many question who is affected and how. Over 80% of teens, including us, also use a cell phone regularly, and that also makes it a very common medium for cyberbullying to occur. And that's from Webster from stopcyberbullying.org. Over 25% of adolescents and teens have been bullied repeatedly and have reported that they've been bullied repeatedly on their phones or either on an internet site. And that's also from Webster. Although these cases are varied and have a wide range of victims, a lot of the times it's most common for young women and girls to be personally affected by cyberbullying. In fact, young women have young women's suicide rates have doubled since the year from 2007 to 2015, which is the year or the time period when technology became more popular among society, and also personally the time whenever I started getting into my social media world and getting more involved within the internet. And the humiliation and pain felt by cyberbullying is something that's very overwhelming and devastating. It's something that is so common and happens almost every day to at least someone around the world, but it's never really talked about. And I know personally I've been affected by cyberbullying, and I know each of these girls have been affected in some way by cyberbullying, and it's just something that makes you feel very alone and feels as if all of your information is out there and that you have no privacy, and that's just something that needs to be stopped. Cyberbullying not only affects the victims, it also affects those around them. In fact, many friends and family report that they feel just as traumatized by the event as the victims do, because they feel guilty, as if they should have done something better or if they should have taken action sooner. And a lot of the times, friends and family tend to be more affected after the victim has succumbed to cyberbullying, because in many situations, the victim will self-harm or even attempt and maybe sometimes succeed in suicide, which is just very devastating for the family who is involved. So cyberbullying is a very serious issue that needs to be stopped, and there are a lot of ways in which cyberbullying can be put to an end, and hopefully by sharing this with you, we can eradicate it once and for all.
It is clear that based on these numbers that Molly has shared with us, that so many people are affected by cyberbullying. In order to create a lasting impact to decrease these numbers, there are certain criteria that needs to be met both practically and based on values. Practical criteria that we discussed were things to do with making a long-term influence to lessen, if not eliminate, cyberbullying altogether. This is going to start by creating a true understanding of what cyberbullying is and how someone might not even know that they're participating in it. Some people don't know that they are participating or happen to be a victim of cyberbullying. The next practical criteria that we came up with is the solution needs to create consequences for those who do choose to participate in cyberbullying someone. Some may think it is only words on a screen, but those words can hurt more than getting punched in the stomach. The final practical criteria should be a solution that creates a safer and more monitored environment on social media. Another thing to take into consideration is that the world is made up of a largely diverse population. With 7.5 billion people, opinions should not have the intention of hurting someone else. This is why we came up with value criteria that needs to be met in order to create a solution for cyberbullying. The first is, and most important, is to remember that respect is something that everyone should both receive as well as offer to others. The next value criteria that we discussed was, while technology is largely seen as a positive, it can be used for negative effects on people's lives when we choose to use it for the wrong reasons. We should be using technology to create a more connected and positive environment rather than using it to hurt someone else. Finally, because cyberbullying is such a serious issue, it needs to be brought to more people's attention, because it is a life-altering impact that is affecting so many teens. Patchen and Hindu stated that 1 in 4 teens are victims of cyberbullying, and that is
way too high.
How exactly will we solve this social issue? Let's find out. One of the 3 potential solutions that we discussed is teacher involvement. Teacher involvement in awareness of cyberbullying is one helpful strategy in preventing cyberbullying. Gradinger, Strohmeyer, and Spiel suggest that teachers who show an intolerance to bullying in the classroom are highly... Gradinger, Strohmeyer, and Spiel suggest that teachers who show an intolerance in their classroom to bullying and are highly aware and responsive to cyberbullying situations decreases the likelihood of their students being victims of cyberbullying. This also creates a safe environment for the students to confide in their teacher and a safe place for them to go, maybe when they don't feel comfortable talking to their peers about the situations in the cyber world that they're facing. This solution can be implemented by schools requiring all staff to take part in a cyberbullying program and a cyberbullying training. Whether it be in person or online, all school staff should be required and also want to be educated on cyberbullying, the symptoms or warning signs of a student of theirs being cyberbullied, just so that they can help be involved in this issue. According to Gradinger, Strohmeyer, and Spill, teachers that have had this strategy and are committed to implementing the strategy have been known to reduce the risk of their students being victims of cyberbullying. The second solution that we discussed is parental supervision. Parental supervision is a key element in preventing cyberbullying. Robinson suggests that parental involvement in a child's phone use significantly decreases. Excuse me. Excuse me. One second. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Robinson should suggest that parental involvement in a child's phone use significantly decreases the chance of the child being cyberbullied and significantly increases the chance of the parents being aware of the child being a cyberbullying themselves. This solution can be implemented by a parent or primary caregiver monitoring the child's phone use. According to Robinson, 81% of parents with children from the ages of 8 to 15 years old and 51% of parents with children of the ages of 17 monitor their child's phone use. Parents need to have a healthy balance of granting their child a personal autonomy while also monitoring their child's internet usage. The third and final solution that we suggested was peer support. Peer support is an indicator of cyberbullying prevention. Jones, Manstead, and Livingstone suggest that having an emotionally supportive peer group can help reduce the negative impact of being cyberbullied on another friend. This solution can be implemented by showing love and support to peers that we know are being cyberbullied, and it can also be implemented by standing up over the cyber world for our peers that are being victimized. We can do this in a loving way without stooping to the cyberbully's low comments, and we can say things such as, would you please be nicer, that isn't true. Things like that can make a huge difference. According to Jones, Manstead, and Livingstone, emotionally supportive peers reduce the chance of victims of cyberbullying turning into cyberbullies themselves.
Each of these solutions that Cassidy has shared with us show both practical and valuable benefit with little drawbacks to their implementation. The first solution of teacher involvement in preventing cyberbullying meets our practical criteria by informing teachers for years to come on how to spot cyberbullying and the symptoms and signs that these kids might show, and give them the tools they need to discourage or mandate proper consequences for students who choose to partake in cyberbullying. This solution meets our value criteria by training teachers to create classroom environments that facilitate individual thought and opinions, but also give students the guidance that they need to share those opinions and express those opinions in a respectful way to other people. The one drawback to this solution is that some of the signs related to cyberbullying that are described by Beal and Hall require the teacher to observe the students in a group setting. In older classrooms or in classes where they might switch frequently throughout the day, it's harder for teachers to be with the students for a long enough time for them to really recognize that there might be an issue. The second solution is parental supervision, and it meets our practical criteria because parents are able to monitor their child's social media and their presence online throughout the years of their adolescence and even beyond. They will have the power to ensure that their child isn't getting bullied and the steps to take if their child is getting bullied and prevent them from becoming a cyberbully themselves. It meets the value criteria by parents having the ability to set clear boundaries from a very young age that will allow their child to benefit from all of the positive features of technology and give them the tools they need to maintain proper online etiquette and allow them to express themselves in a respectful way. Parents are an excellent resource when it comes to cyberbullying, and according to Gradinger, Strohmeyer, and Spiel, 61% of parents are more than willing to actively participate in bullying prevention programs. The third possible solution is creating a supportive peer environment. This meets our practical criteria by encouraging students to form meaningful relationships that will last and set a precedent for their future relationships. It can also benefit professional development and those life skills that they need for conflict resolution. Positive peer environments meets our value criteria by limiting the chance of a student's possibility for being cyberbullied, and then it provides them with a support group to help them cope with cyberbullying and overcome it. This explains the Jones, Manstead, and Livingstone's intergroup emotion theory. It details how creating an emotionally supportive peer group can have a positive impact on the negative effects of bullying.
We looked closely at all three different possible solutions, and after our deliberation, we decided that parental supervision was the best solution to cyberbullying. According to Betts, parents help with skills, understanding, and self-efficacy when it comes to responding to cyberbullies. If parents are able to supervise their children's internet usage and social media, they will be more aware of what their child is experiencing on the internet, and they can help put a stop to cyberbullying. Along with, this is going to help the child be more comfortable about going to their parents about being cyberbullied versus not. If nothing is done, then cyberbullying is going to become more prevalent among young children and teens, which will lead to more psychological issues, mental health difficulties, and even suicide-related behaviors, according to Gorzig. Our plan is to show parents to often monitor their children's social media and internet usage so that they can teach their kids how to respond to these cyberbullies. Parents should periodically check the screens of their child's social media. They should also check in with their children if they ever experience any attitude changes or any behavioral differences. And they should encourage younger children to abstain from using social media too much. In a study from Robinson, it was found that younger children, typically ages 9 to 10, were more likely to express a desire for their parents to be interested in their internet usage, indicating that parents need to be involved in monitoring these behaviors at an earlier age than they had expected. When parents become more involved in their children's internet use, not only will it help the prevention of cyberbullying, but it also gives the parent an opportunity to teach their children about respect and self-control. This will also help teach people who cyberbully how their actions can affect people, how their actions and words can affect others, and it will teach victims of cyberbullying how to respond, cope, and manage the effects of the situation.
As you can see, the issue of cyberbullying must be prevented. Today's social environment makes individuals more susceptible to cyberbullying, which is why it is so important that we educate the masses on what cyberbullying is, its negative consequences, and steps to take to eradicate this issue. This is such an important issue because many of our youth have lost their lives due to the ongoing abuse of cyberbullying.
After our it's not me, is it?
Cyberbullying is a pressing issue in today's society because now, more than ever, we are connected through technological means. And even though this form of bullying is exclusive to electronics, it is just as and sometimes more deadly than bullying itself, because it can make the victim feel trapped and feel like there is no escape, and they feel like their only option is to commit suicide. The reliance of technology and social media without the proper supervision is one of the most leading causes for this tragedy.
Since it is one of the most leading causes for this tragedy and that cyberbullying is a very ongoing and present issue, it's crazy to see the amount of harm that it can cause to such a young generation. Suicide rates, since technology has become more popular, have since doubled when associated with cyberbullying, and young people are twice as likely to self-harm or attempt suicide, and that's from NAPTN. And that issue not only is very serious and very crucial to highlight, but it also, even if someone doesn't try to attempt suicide or self-harm, it can still affect them emotionally and intellectually and on all levels. Since roughly 64% of students who have felt that they have been personally attacked by cyberbullies state that they also have a negative impact with their feelings of safety and their ability to learn in school, it should create a bigger rise to action, and that we should try to not only stop the suicide rates from doubling even more as time goes on, but to also help keep our kids healthy and have positive and happy mindsets.
We have evaluated our solutions based on both practical and value-based criteria. Our practical criteria were focused on the solutions needed to make a long-term and lasting impact to lessen, if not completely eliminate, cyberbullying altogether. Our value criteria were focused on the understanding that while the world is made up of a largely diverse group of people who are entitled to their own opinions, they should not be with the intentions of hurting someone else's.
We established 3 possible solutions. The first solution was teacher involvement and awareness of cyberbullying in the classroom. The second solution was parental supervision regarding a child's phone use. And the third solution was peer support.
After our deliberation, we have determined that the best possible solution to cyberbullying is parental supervision of children's social media and internet usage. The plan is to show parents how to often monitor their child's social media and teach their kids how to handle and respond to these kinds of situations.
According to Angrove, victims of cyberbullying are at risk to struggle with anxiety, depression, academic difficulties, low self-esteem, and various types of physical ailments. Teacher involvement, parental supervision, and peer support are 3 initiatives we can encourage others to take, as well as take ourselves.
Remember, even though this device is usually used as a weapon, you can use it to end cyberbullying.
Thank you, and we would love to hear your questions.